Good morning, everybody. This is Liz Schote, registered dietitian and director of clinical nutrition here at Jackson Purchase Medical Center, doing another Learning with Liz lesson today. Well, today is Thursday and it's September the 22nd, and that's actually the first day of fall. Hasn't felt like fall this week, it's been pretty hot. But hopefully today is going to be a lot cooler outside. So I thought, what could I talk about today? And I started thinking about, well, since it's the first day of fall, let's talk about some of those fall vegetables that we might find out there at the grocery store or at the farmer's market, and what those vegetables and fruits maybe could do for us to make us a little bit healthier. So I'm going to kind of go through some of them and tell you just a brief little tidbit of what they can do for us. I'm also going to attach a couple of recipes to this, as well as the article that I'm getting this information from that might give you some different ideas of things to do for the fall. So, the first thing to kind of talk a little bit about is pumpkin, because we think about pumpkin, fall, Halloween, we think about, we all carve those pumpkins and put them on our front porch, but actually pumpkin is a very good thing that you can actually eat also, besides pumpkin pie. That's our first thing we think about. But pumpkin it's full of fiber. It also has beta carotene contained in it. That's that rich orange color comes from that beta carotene. Beta carotene in our body converts into vitamin A, which is great for our skin and for our eyes. So, like I said, there's more that we can do with pumpkin rather than just pumpkin pie, but it can you can just do like a baked pumpkin. It's really sweet tasting. You can add different herbs and spices to it to have a nice, very colorful dish on your plate. Beets. Now, I personally don't like beets, but a lot of people like beets. And beets, you can eat every part of a beet. You can eat the leaves, you can eat the beet itself. So it's very similar. The leaves of the beet is very similar to spinach, of the taste that it is. Most places just carry the red beets, but there's all sorts of different kinds of beets that you can get. There's one that's a golden color. There's one that's called bull's blood, so it's a really, really deep on that red color. And that red color is actually caused by a phytochemical called betanin, which actually helps us to have some really healthy things in our body. So it's a naturally occurring nitrates that help with us supporting healthy blood pressure. So if you have some blood pressure issues, you might want to eat you some beets, and it can kind of help you with that. Sweet potato. A lot of people like to eat sweet potato. We think about sweet potato in that rich orange color. It's full of fiber. It has a lot of vitamin A contained in it. It's a great source of potassium and vitamin C. And we think about having maybe a baked sweet potato or cut up a sweet potato and put it in different things, but it can be, use it with breakfast, different things such as that. One of the recipes I'm going to attach on here is a sweet potato and black bean chili. So it's actually adding that sweet potato to the chili. Spaghetti squash. Your spaghetti squash, it's kind of a fall squash, or it's an orange yellowish color. It's a very, very low calorie and a gluten-free alternative to grain-based pasta. So if somebody has to be on a gluten-free diet from some type of medical problem that they might have, you can use spaghetti squash in place of that. So you can just look up that recipe of how to make spaghetti squash, but you just cut that squash in half, and then you take a fork and you run it through there, and it comes up looking like spaghetti. So it's a great thing to kind of have, and very low calorie. Kale. We think of kale as one of those green leafy vegetables. To me, it's similar looking like spinach is, and it's just loaded with all sorts of nutrients. 1 cup of raw kale only has 8 calories in it, but it has vitamins A in it, it has vitamin C as well as vitamin K, and then has manganese in it. So it's a really easy and very low calorie thing to have. And I didn't realize this until I read this article, that it says it tastes sweeter after a frost, and it can survive a snowstorm. So if you plant kale in your garden, you can dig it up when it's snowing, and you have fresh kale in January. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? Pears. Pear is actually a fruit that is more of a fallish fruit, and they peak in the fall, so that's why they're calling it a fall fruit. They contain a lot of fiber. They have some vitamin A, vitamin C contained in it. Also, pears are unique because they do not ripen until it is pulled off the tree. Isn't that interesting? So it's like I said, I'm finding out all sorts of things that I didn't know about some of these things. But pears, you can do pears with all sorts of. You can eat them raw. You could cook, have a baked pear, throw some different little spices with it. It's really, really good. Okra. A lot of people like okra. A lot of people like fried okra. But okra can also be fixed in many different ways. It's very high in vitamin K and vitamin C. It's a great source of fiber, and it's a good source of folate, and it's very, very low in calories as long as we don't fry it. If you could saute it, you could stew it, you can use it in a lot of other things like stews and soups and things such as that. Parsnips. A parsnip is similar to a carrot. It's in that same family as a carrot. And it has the same shape, except it's white instead of being that orange. So they're usually, usually it's a cooked type of item, but it can be eaten raw. A half a cup of cooked parsnips has a lot of fiber in it. It has 3 grams of fiber in a half a cup. It's pretty cool. And it has 10% of the daily value of vitamin C and folate. So that parsnips are really good. And then the last one is cranberries. I really didn't think that cranberry was a fallish type of food until, again, I was reading this article and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So they have a lot of different items in it. A lot of times when somebody has problems, say with a urinary tract infection, or they have different things going on with their bladder, people will say, drink cranberry juice. Well, actually what cranberry juice has in it, or cranberries have a compound called proanthocyanidine, which helps prevent harmful bacteria from sticking to your bladder wall. So that is why cranberries are so good when we have those urinary tract infections and things such as that. Fresh cranberries, they can be eaten raw, they can be eaten dried. They're great like in a salad. They're super, just making it kind of as a snack, say, instead of doing, say raisins, you can do dried cranberries, and it's a super, super thing for us. And it's that good, rich, red color type of fruit that can give us some really good health benefits. So these are just a few of the fallish fruits and vegetables that we might find out there in the farmer's market or at the grocery store. Try to get some of those things. Like I said, I'm attaching 2 recipes on here for you. One's a sweet potato and black bean chili, like I was saying. The other one is a chicken and a white bean soup. So white beans have a lot of good fiber. It also has it's a good protein for it to have. So just give us some ideas of thinking about, it's fall. Let's kind of get some good warm recipes out there for you. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson today. If you have any questions or if you have any topics that you would like for me to discuss on here, just drop us a little line and I'd be glad to do that. So I hope everyone has a great day and go outside and enjoy this cooler weather.